people think what they talk about. But life's a gamble. If you wanna win, you've got to play the game. Things don't always go the way you plan. Sometimes you lose, but I bet this time you're gonna win. Don't go giving your love, don't go giving your love away. It's what they say. Don't go giving your love, don't go giving your love away so easily. Don't go giving your love, don't go giving your love away. It's what they say. Don't go giving your love, don't go giving your love away so easily. Don't go giving your love, don't go giving your love away. It's what they say. Don't go giving your love, don't go giving your love away so easily. Oh no.
Welcome, you pedal people, to me showing you the new UAFX Amp Pedals. I'm gonna start with the Dream something age. Dream 65 Reverb amp. Which it is, what is it, who? So I just got these fresh off the press, and I'm going to wiggle my way through the video. Read everything there's to read, played them. All I really needed to know was minute 1, where I plugged it in like, whoa. I know we often say this. Amazing, best modeler now. The thing is, it's always until the better one comes along. And when it comes to sounding like and feeling like an amp, even though the pedals might be limited in how many amps they do per pedal, there's nothing that I've played that can rival this. Of course, there are the Helixes with a billion amps and effects and all good. And it's good for the plethora of sounds. I played an FX 3 at my buddy Mike's in England, and it's good, but it feels like a modeler. It does. I'm sorry, people. It does. Let's not even talk about the Kemper. Now, I know what it's like to play real amps. Tonking Sky King through the aux is the sound I have in my head because I play it with monitor speakers here in the studio every day. And I plugged this thing in, and immediately was like, whoa, that is the same feel. It was ridiculous. We're going to criticize some design choices, but we're also going to admire the tonal mastery they achieved. So here it is. Let's look at it. Looks exactly like the FX pedals. Now they are amp pedals. They learned a little bit in terms of user interface because they have an alt switch, which now actually also when you switch it shows you which knobs have secondary functions. Nicely done. So this is a Fender Deluxe Reverb. It is the ultimate pedal platform, or one of the ultimate pedal platforms. Whereas the Strymon Iridium, which is a pedal modeler with a Vox, a Fender, and a Marshall, is trying to be all these three and fairly basic controls of each with IRs. This is trying to completely recreate one amp, which is a Deluxe Reverb. So it's a different idea. So don't look for all these amps in one box. It's literally the opposite. It is one amp in one box. But boy, did they nail it. It is not gain. It is le volume. its volume, just like on the original Fender. This is the vibrato channel. The normal channel has not been modeled. It's the channel that everyone goes into anyway. So we got gain here, which of course it's a Deluxe Reverb. How much gain do you want? They do not sound great when you crank them, which we will do. Reverb. The other UAFX pedals have a room, and I love that room. It's from the Aux. That's such an amazing feel to actually play the amp in the room. They didn't do this here because it has reverb, so it's slightly different in approach. Output is the master out. We have speakers, 3 of them, and when you register your pedal with the app, you get 3 more. So when there's no light, there's also no IR, meaning you could go into the back of an amp, into a return, and play it directly into a real cab or use your IRs later when you're recording. So let's cover this right away. So stock, without you registering, you've got a GB25 25 watt Celestion greenback. What cab? Well, it's a combo. It's the Fender combo. Here we've got an original 65 Oxford Blue Label. Here you've got a vintage Electro Voice 12L. Don't ask me, I don't know. And then the green ones, which you get when you register your pedal with the app. You get a ported 212 Dumble cab with Celestion 65 watt speakers. 410 Fender Super Reverb cab with CTS ceramic speakers, and a 212 Fender Twin Reverb cab with JBL D120F speakers. Now you know everything but nothing. How about we listen to the freaking things? What do you think about that? So the middle switch on this one, relatively simple. You can see the gray labels on top, speed and intensity. So you go to Alt, and now it controls the vibrato. Tremolo. It's a tremolo, not a vibrato. What am I saying? Oh, it's just a vibrato channel, which is wrong. It's a tremolo channel. So all you do is set it up, go back to amp, and then the controls are what the controls are. Hold it down for 5 seconds or whatever, and then something flashes, and then you've saved it to the preset. There's one preset. A little bit confusing for me. You click on preset, but you click on it again, and it's actually bypassed. It's a behavior that's weird to me, because it's like you click on preset and you click it again to turn off and go back to here. But we're going to talk about foot switch behavior in a second. So what you do is click here or click there, which is also meaning you don't have to turn the pedal on to go directly to the preset. You could just hit the preset. So it's literally off, 1 channel, 2 channel, off. Okay, it's just you just have to know it. But that's how you store the preset. And here in the middle, we got the stock Deluxe Reverb. Up here, we got the, I gotta read, the lead, the Dumble mod with tone stack lift and mid-range boost. No idea what that means, but we're gonna listen. And down here, we got the DTEX, which is the Diaz mod and Dumble mod. And it's apparently the Stevie Ray Vaughan 65 reverb. So technically, that's it. Let's talk very quickly about the app. Now, we'll only talk in this video about the app. That way, you're not bored to death in the other videos about the other pedals. Now, Android or iOS, rather straightforward, actually. So here you can see my dirty iPhone. You can change the foot switch mode. Live mode, preset mode, bypass, blah, blah, blah. That's what's happening right now. We're either in the live mode, which means all the knobs are where they are, or the preset mode, which means none of that matters. It's the stored preset. And then when they're off, they're bypassed. So it's showing you what the 2 switches do. However, you can go and change that. You can make it boost and live preset, which would make sense. So you can't turn it off. Well, why would you not want to turn off your pedal? Well, because this would be last in the chain and it's literally your amp. When would you not want your amp if this was on your pedal board? So actually going into bypass doesn't make an awful lot of sense. You might want this to be your always on pedal, in which case this to be the boost on off, and this to switch between the 2 channels, the live and the preset, might make a lot of sense. Or switch it to vibrato on off, boost on off, and vibrato, which means it's always your settings, no preset access, and so on. So there's definitely a whole bunch of ways to configure these two foot switches to suit them to your needs. To suit them to your needs? No. We got the 4-cable method, which is really cool. And we're going to go into that later. You have to turn that on. I will tell you how to use this with your amp to use its preamp as actually 2 different preamps, live and preset, and wire it into your amp's front end and back end with the 4-cable method. You can back up all of your presets. That's cool. But this time around, they have a preset page. So there are the user presets, which I have exactly 0 of. There are the factory presets, which is nice, a whole bunch of them. And now there are artist presets, which is freaking redonkulous. There's Osnoy, Jessica Dobson, Cory Wong, that's of course bright shit. If Cory says bright, it's bright. Derek Wells, Tim Pierce, I've heard of the man, he's supposed to be good. David Ryan Harris, Jim James, Danish Pete. Why the fuck's Danish Pete in there? Why didn't they ask me? Why did they ask Danish Pete? Oh, because Danish Pete is damn good. That's why. Nels Klein, Justice West, and Lincoln Brewster. So you can play around with what's possible by going through the artist preset. And of course, you can discover some things, and there are favorites, which of course I have none. That's what you can do with the app on all the amps. And you can see it's connected because it actually changes back and forth. So if I go to Cory Wong Bright, it actually does immediately go to that preset. But we're done with that. Now that we know what everything does, we play the damn thing. Oh, bass and treble, and the boost. Well, before we hear the 4-cable method, well, you go in with your guitar. Well, in the back, actually, let's look at that. You go in here, you go to the front of the amp with the output, and then, of course, it's not stereo. The whole pedal is stereo, but when you use the 4-cable method, it isn't. Then with your amp's send from your effect loop, you go in here, and this will go to the return, and also other effects if you have them. And that will allow you to turn this off, and now you're playing your amp's preamp, but when you turn it on, thinking they're doing some cool routing, you're actually going directly with this preamp into your amp's power amp. Pretty clever. And then you can, of course, have both sounds. So you can add these channels or these preamp channels to your amp if you so please. Further looking in the back, right here, you see it blue. That means it's connected. There's a little pairing button. And underneath the 9-volt is the USB-C to use the desktop app. I'm going straight from the pedal with these cables into my Apollo X4 on channel 3 and 4, and that's it. I've rarely played a plugin or hardware modeler that feels this much like an amp. This is, I'm sorry to say, a completely different feeling than playing a Helix or any kind of modeler, I have to say. Immediately I was like, whoa. I mean, I expected a lot from UA, okay? This is $399. I expected quite a bit. It didn't disappoint. Except for the things we're disappointed, which we'll cover in the Mic to Send section at the end. This, of course, is a Shabbat Lion DX. Nice guitar. Boost off, you turn that off by just going all the way to the left. surfy stuff. I'm gonna say that works. Again, I am on the same speaker now, so we're gonna play around with that kind of basic setting first. That's a classic rock sound. The Deluxe Reverb is not known for distorting nicely. It's going to be very, that is how the amp is. Let's get it to a nice setting and then boost it a bit. It's fun, okay? Moving on. So that's the boost. Gonna take that off. Gonna go to the lead mod. Stock. Lead mod. I think you might have to engage the boost, maybe. Okay, so with that mod, there's quite a bit of gain on tap, and it's never going to be a metal thing. It's never going to be a, massive modern rock monster. No, but oh my God, for a lot of classic guitar tones, it's all freaking there. I want to try to turn that off and use my own boost. Which I have over here, which is a Golden Boy. Does the Dream by UAFX Amp Pedals thing play well with other pedals in the gain world? Yes, it does. Holy crap. You can use that as a pedal amp all day long because it's based on one of the pedal platforms and it sounds pretty much identical to it. Holy shit. Let's do some that stuff. Highly effective, the Wiggles. There's no doubt when you play this blindfolded that you have no idea that that's a modeler. They focused on one damn amp and they nailed the shit out of it. That's ridiculous how that feels. Wow. Let's go through what you would call IRs or modeled cabs. Can you load your own? No, because I don't think necessarily they use IRs like someone else. They might, but in the aux, it's also not IRs. So they give you 6, and you better shut up because they're good. those were 1/12 in the original enclosure. Now we're going to go to what you can get when you register, which are external cabs. That's got serious treble. You don't really want to drive that too hard. You can see after a few minutes, you actually relatively quickly know your way around the pedal. Of course, if you don't like any of these cabs, go here and then you have a DI signal, which you can work with. I was pretty happy on that one. That's it. That's all there is. Oh, really? That's quite a bit. Let's do pros and cons. Con, price? I don't know, $399. It's a modular, you get 1 amp. Well, it's tough to call this a con, because quality versus quantity. Any other modular will give you 17 delays and who knows what, and 40 amps and 70 cabs. What's the point if it doesn't sound as freaking lush and deep and just like the real thing and musical as this? So it's a completely different approach. It's we do not give you any options. We give you all of the options of that 1 amp, but it's going to cost you, okay? Obviously, fully stereo, which could be the reverb, which could be the simulation, but it could also be the fully stereo through. So if you're putting any kind of effects in behind or whatever, then it's fully stereo. Now, con price, I don't know. It's not inexpensive for a 1 amp modular pedal. However, ACS1, the simplifier, the Iridium, and all pedals kind of like it are similar price. They have at least 3 different amp models. But I'm going to tell you right away, neither the Iridium nor the ACS1, which I own both, and they're great pedals, sound like that. There is, I think, nothing on the market right now that sounds like that. Let's go into more cons. No MIDI. So you got these really cool presets in the app, but you can't really access them. Access. You can't access them. Access. How do you say the word? I don't know. Without the app. Don't really know if you want to stand around on stage fiddling with an app to switch your amp sound. Of course, in the situation that I'm in right here in the studio, killer. I've got all my presets right there. So for studio, not a problem. So no MIDI. Usually these pedals do have MIDI. Damn you, you audio. But they've done this on the other pedals. Why would they do it here? No headphone out. Now that's a big gripe for me, because let's talk about this. Who is this pedal for? As a practice tool, how cool would that be? Throw that on the living room table, plug in your headphone, get a power bank with a 9 to 5 adapter from Engel or whoever for $16, power it, and you have a kick-ass practice tool. Now this could be the amp replacement practice tool for the guy on the go. Power it with a power bank, but no headphone out. So you have to run it into a headphone amp, which you'd have to power and take with you, or into an audio interface. And of course, they're going to tell you, rightfully so, you could run one of their Volts, which is small and can be externally powered. And well, then you've got everything you need, but then you have two devices, okay? Now, if it had a headphone out, the thing already has Bluetooth. Now, I'm going to ask, why wouldn't it accept Bluetooth audio from your phone? Well, because it doesn't have a headphone out, because what's the point? But if it had a headphone out, Bluetooth audio, we already have a Bluetooth freaking connection. Run Bluetooth to it, headphone out, and then jam with your favorite tracks. I'm going to guarantee you it would increase the sales of this thing as a practice tool tenfold. But they didn't. So you have to run it into an audio interface or a mixing console or the like to utilize it, which negates the idea for the blues lawyer, the little lawyer or dentist or whatever, to have it at work on their desk, quickly run it. Now, if it could accept USB power, which would make sense, right? Because it's got USB-C. Plug it into your computer, bam, power it, headphone in, jam, 10 minutes, bam, back to surgery. Makes a lot of sense. Can't be powered with USB. Doesn't have Bluetooth audio in, no headphone out. These are small things, but they just expand the use and the customer base tremendously. Who is it for? Well, it's clearly made also as a pedal board amp for life. Put it as the last chain, link in the chain on your pedal board, and run all your pedals into it in stereo. Fucking awesome. Now, this isn't a big gripe because none of the other competitors have it except for the simplifier. If it's on your pedal board, you're going to have to go front of house, which means with non-balanced outputs, you're going to have to go into a DI box. Like, for example, the Walrus Audio Canvas that was just released. That's going to run you another $280. But then you can run long cables into the front of house. Now, why doesn't have something like this, which is already in a 4-pedal, higher price range, have right here XLR outs. Bam, stereo XLR. And then this is the last thing on your pedal board. On the top left, 2 XLR outs right here, run straight into the front of house. That would make sense. Well, this way you can still do it, but you need an extra box that you're going to have to buy. I understand bang for the buck. I understand maybe it's too expensive. I get it. I'm just saying none of the competition really has it, but that would be a cool thing to do. Now, this is not a heavy rock or metal thing. None of the new pedals are. It's classic sounds to the fucking T. Okay, these were, cons. No MIDI, no headphone out. Bluetooth audio would be nice if it had headphone out. XLR, well, again, not the massive critique because none of the competition has it. Price, you decide. Quality costs money. Now, what's the pros? User interface, I like. It's all right there. Very easy to understand. And after minutes, you're dialing in sounds, even on a second layer, which is easy to get to. Okay. Bluetooth app connectivity and presets there, even artist presets. I'm going to count that as a big plus. Really cool. Explore what they've done. Go ahead. Do your own sounds. Then again, getting sounds. There aren't any hidden menus. It's really easy to get good stuff. Plays extremely well with pedals. And now comes the kicker. It sounds freaking insane. If you want to feel playing a pedal that's a modular, and you want to feel that it actually playing an amp, I'm going to dare to say that nothing right now gets you closer than the Dream 65 Reverb and its sisters/brothers from the UAFX pedal amps. Yes, fine, I'm getting paid for this video, but again, you've got ears, and you know what, if you don't trust me, order it, play it, and tell me that I'm wrong. Go ahead, do it. Put this on the table versus the competition. Now, of course, if you want headphone out, you're going to buy an ACS1 or Iridium, because this doesn't have one. Unless you want to build yourself a little box with a power bank and a 9-to-5 adapter to power it with a power bank and a little headphone amp and all that stuff. If you want to make yourself a little box that can run the Dream standalone, then it's a great practice solution. But if you want something right out of the box with a headphone out, then you have to buy the competition. However, the competition does not sound like this. It sounds good. Competition sounds good. This sounds freaking unbelievable. Ask the guy that just dropped them off today how my reaction was. Played 5 notes, I was like, yep, that's the shit. I had high hopes for the UAFX Amp Pedals when I heard that they were doing them. I knew that their simulations on the UA platform, which I have, the Marshalls and all that stuff, I knew that they were extremely good already. This is a step up. I'm not shitting you. You heard it yourself. Check it out. I put links below. If this is for you, again, I think it's a very narrow market. It's the pedal board guy or the studio guy that wants to be flexible, dialing in the sound right there and not having to fiddle with the loud amp, bringing a load box, IRs, microphones, all that shit, having those sounds as authentic as humanly possible as of today, right into the computer. This is a studio player's tool, not the metal studio player's tool. It is a rather limited market that they're catering to, but that market, better fucking go and buy it. Animals at the end.
Everyone who disobeys gotta go. Who's to blame in this game? Light a flame and let it glow. On the page full of rage, we engage the imposter god. Tell us all righteous crawl and make them cross, and then the squad.